My mom placed her hand on the will and looked me straight in the eye. You won't get a single cent. All right. I smiled, then don't expect to get anything from me either. I slowly packed my belongings and stood up, leaving the food untouched on the table. I could hear the clatter of her fork drop as I walked out, but I didn't turn back. I'd spent years trying to earn her approval, thinking maybe if I worked harder, loved more, or stayed quiet longer, she'd finally see me. She never did. That night, I booked a bus ticket out of town with only $200 in my account and the clothes in my suitcase. I didn't know then that the woman who raised me was about to need me more than anyone else in her life. 3 weeks later, I got the call. It was my brother, voice trembling. Mom's house caught fire. She's in the hospital. Everything's gone. I froze. For a second, I almost dropped the phone. I could hear the beeping of machines in the background. She keeps asking for you, he said. I hung up without answering. That night, I sat by the window in my tiny rented room, watching the rain streak down the glass. I thought about how many nights I'd begged her to just listen, to believe in me, to stop comparing me to everyone else. And now suddenly, she remembered my name. Suddenly, I was useful. But something inside me had changed. I whispered to myself, you made me invisible, Mom. Let's see if you can live without me now. When I finally went to see her, she looked smaller, weaker, her pride wrapped in hospital sheets. She smiled like nothing had happened. Sweetheart, I'm so glad you came. I kept my tone calm. You said I wouldn't get a cent. Why are you surprised I came empty-handed? Her face fell, but she didn't reply. I could see it in her eyes. Fear. Not of the fire, not of death, but of being left alone. 2 weeks later, my brother called again. The insurance company is refusing to pay. They need proof of ownership for the property deeds. You have the copies, right? I did. I'd been the one who organized Mom's documents for years. But when she rewrote the will and cut me out, I quietly made sure to keep the originals in a locked folder, under my name. I'd built her trust, her accounts, her paperwork. She thought I was just helping. She never realized I had legal power over half her estate from an old trust my dad had signed before he died. So when they begged for my help, I said no. You made your choice. Live with it. The weeks dragged. The hospital bills mounted. My brother sold his car to pay for treatment. Mom's old friends stopped visiting. And that's when I got the message. Please, come home. We can talk. I was wrong. I didn't reply. Instead, I called the county clerk and began the process of transferring what remained of the burned property into my name. She never read the fine print when I was managing the trust, and I wasn't about to remind her. When the papers cleared, I stood outside what used to be our family home, a skeleton of blackened beams and ash, and whispered, now it's mine. A month later, she was discharged and came to stay with my brother. They tried rebuilding, but the insurance still refused payment. She called me one night. I know you have the deeds, she said softly. Please, let me rebuild my home. I took a deep breath. You told me I wasn't part of this family. You made that choice with your signature. I'm just honoring your wishes. She cried, real broken sobs. But I didn't hang up. I listened. Every tear, every regret, every gasp. I wanted her to feel the silence she forced on me all those years. Then I said, Mom, do you know what a nightmare is? It's when everything you love turns its back on you. Now you understand mine. The next morning, I visited her with an envelope. Inside was a check, small, but enough to live modestly. She looked confused. Why? Because I'm not you, I said. I don't destroy the people who love me. She reached out to hold my hand, but I stepped back. Keep your will, I whispered. You'll need it. I walked away, feeling lighter than I had in years. A month later, the story took an unexpected twist. The local paper ran an article about a mysterious buyer rebuilding the burned house with modern architecture and gold accents. My brother called again. Was that you? Yes, I said. But it's not for her. It's for me. Now every time she drives past, She sees the life she threw away, rebuilt stronger, brighter, and without her. If this story hit you deep, if you've ever rebuilt yourself from betrayal, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's the quiet echo of finally letting them see what they lost.